Watch out, it's the warning track.
Welcome back to another episode of The Warning Track. I'm your host, Clayton McMahon, and we're here on a Monday. We're recording this just after 8:30 a.m. on Monday, April 13th. And I feel like most Mondays are going to be like this, where there is just so much to cover. I don't even know how we're going to get into it in 25 minutes. I've probably already wasted enough time just in these 20 seconds on the intro. Closing carousel, some interesting updates, so many injuries, just an insane amount of injuries, as well as a couple other things. We have a pretty big prospect call-up, which I'm pretty excited about if you're able to snag them in any leagues. And, yeah, we'll get right into it. And so, looking here, some of our closer stuff, I mentioned him, I can't remember if it was Wednesday's or Thursday's show, but Joe Kunal. Got another save Sunday for the Athletics through a clean ninth inning. I'm not really sure how optimistic I am about this. I was looking up his stats before we started the show here. And he's been in the league since 2019, but literally only has one full season here in 2022 with the Cincinnati Reds. Had 53 games as a reliever, put up almost a K per nine, but a 6.36 ERA. Pretty brutal. Kind of surprised they let him pitch that long. His FIP was a lot better, but not really anything that inspires confidence. And then, as you can see on your screen here, just kind of bounced around. Only made 9 appearances in 2023 for 2 teams, 6 in 2024 for 2 teams. This year, he only has 1 strikeout and 3 1/3. Granted, when you look at the usage from Sunday's game, it doesn't really inspire confidence in anybody else. I mentioned last week that I was fine dropping Hogan Harris, and sure enough, he comes in the 6th inning, followed by Scott Barlow, and then I thought this was Jose Alvarado, and I didn't think he was on the Athletics, and then sure enough, it's not. It's a guy named Elvis Alvarado finishing off the 8th inning there. But I still think this, along with the Twins, are probably the 2 most frustrating closer situations. I think if you're in a very deep league, like I saw in my 2 leagues where saves matter, Kunal was picked up. So it probably doesn't hurt to pick him up as just a speculative ad, but I can't say I'm super confident in that. Jacob Junis, somebody who I would say I'm confident in, but he's probably not in too many leagues. Still only 10% in ESPN, but not that really matters for much, as we've established on the show. In Yahoo, okay, he's still only 24% right. Yeah, I mean, if you don't have Jacob Junis at this point in a league with saves, I don't know what you're doing. He's looked really good so far. Still doesn't give up a run. 8 innings, 6 Ks, up to 3 saves. This particular league I'm in is saves plus holds, so even more additional holds. So, yeah, definitely should go after Junis. I still think if I had to rate, I guess we'll kind of jump ahead here and just mention Riley O'Brien, who picked up his 4th save on Friday, pretty much has a stranglehold on that role. If I had to rate, say, Riley O'Brien, we'll throw in Lucas Erceg, who is up to 5 saves now this season, and Jacob Junis, I'd still probably put Junis 3rd, but like I said, clearly any league that has saves, you need to get him. You need to get him. He's been fantastic. Clayton Beeter got his 2nd save on Saturday. Did give up a run in that appearance, but like I said, locked down the save, so that's his 2nd of the year. Gus Varlin, another reliever for the Nationals, did get the save Sunday. I think that was more maybe just because Clayton Beeter had pitched 2 days in a row. Not really super excited about Beeter either, but I think he's easily the guy I want to own. I would say I'd probably rather have Junis than Clayton Beeter, but he's definitely still worth rostering in leagues with saves. Dennis Santana, we finally see Dennis Santana. I don't have him in any leagues, but we finally see Dennis Santana lock down some saves, or a save, I should say. Unfortunately, though, he blew the save the next day because he got the save on, was that Friday? Yeah, I got the save Friday, blew a save Saturday. But we were kind of seeing him in some similar situations to what Soto was a week or two ago, where you could tell he was warming up for the ninth, and then Pirates scored a bunch of runs in the eighth inning or whatever, and knock out the save opportunity. But I think they're both worth rostering. I can't really say I'm super excited for either. Dennis Santana has good numbers. That was the first run he'd given up this season, and has 6 Ks, 8 innings, 1.13 ERA. Soto's still been good too. So if I had to choose one, I'd probably choose Soto just because of the strikeouts. I mean, you can see here he has 13 strikeouts in 8 2/3. But yeah, I had holds both Friday and Saturday, so he's not going to be getting saves all the time. But if he's at least giving you some good K numbers when he's not, and then chipping in the occasional save, I like that. So I think I'd rather have Soto than Santana, but they're both worth rostering in leagues with saves. And then I really don't feel confident about this at all, but Brian Baker did get his second save of the year on Friday, and then blew a save Saturday. So, and as you can see in this note here, he in the Saturday blown save, he came in the 8th inning. So I think this is still, I've been mentioning it multiple times, I think this is all Edwin Uceda when he gets back. I remember this note. Minor league rehab assignment expected to transfer to AAA next week. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised based off that if there's no setbacks. You see him back half of the week, Thursday, Friday, maybe the weekend. And I just, with how awful that bullpen's been so far, I just don't know how he doesn't. Only 7% in ESPN. I'm gonna guess mid-20s. Yeah, 19, so close. So yeah, I think same thing I've been saying all along. If he's on the wire, and especially if you have IL spots, I think he's worth stashing there. But yeah, because the Griffin Jacks has still just been, brutal. I guess the last couple, he's put up better stuff the last couple starts, but and then Clevenger went on the IL, I believe. Yep, talked about that. Anybody else don't really care about. So that's pretty much it on the closing carousel. Like I said, I think the biggest things are Jacob Junis basically solidifying it, Riley O'Brien definitely solidifying it, Dennis Santana finally getting a save, and then just keep your eye on Joel Kuhnel, but I can't say I'm super confident about that. And then now we're going to get into the bulk of the show, which is the injuries. So many injuries, I have 2 pages worth of notes, and obviously this doesn't include the injuries that have already happened. So I want to show you something very interesting here. This is my, the league is called the Splendid Splinter. It's an 8x8 category, includes like doubles and triples. Kind of a unique league. I like it. As you can see, my starting outfield right now is Jose Altuve, Jacob Marcy, Ryan O'Hearn. On my bench here, bench and IL, I have Brent Rooker, who to start off went on the 10-day IL with an oblique strain. He joins on this particular team. I have him on both my IU teams. Juan Soto and Jackson Chourio. So my entire starting outfield, 3 of my first 4 picks are on the IL, which is just this team just dealt with so many terrible injury luck last year. In this league, I had Pablo Lopez and Corbin Burns last year. I had somebody else, a good offensive player, missed a bunch of time. I want to say I have no luck in this league, but I'm doing pretty well so far. I'm in 3rd place, record of 26-18-4. So I'm just hoping. Thankfully, none of these injuries are super long term. The weird thing about Brent Rooker is I think he was put on the IL Friday. Yes. And I think the injury happened Thursday. And they've still not announced like a timetable for his return. I don't know if I should feel good or bad about that. Now, I guess kind of skipping ahead, I was going to compare it to Mookie Betts, who also went down with an oblique strain. And they were saying it was like a 4 to 6 week recovery timeline. But then I look at his player profile this week, and apparently Dave Roberts was saying he's just perfectly fine. This is a report from Sunday afternoon. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts said Friday that Betts is, quote, symptom-free, unquote, in regard to his strained right oblique. And this came, it was last Monday, where Betts said that he was, quote, light years ahead of where I thought I was going to be. So I guess I can't explain how that happened, but clearly he's on track based on these comments to not be out 4 to 6 weeks. I'm not expecting the same for Brent Rooker, which is unfortunate. And so, yeah, like I said, not only between having him on two teams, but this team just being decimated with injuries. I also had Adley Rutschman in this league, who I ended up just dropping because I just didn't have the spots for him. Where was that note? Yeah, he went on the 10-day IL with ankle inflammation, and they went in for MRI. It seemed like very serious the way they were kind of reporting it. But then the MRI came back good, or came back well, I should say. And then there was a report that he may not require a lengthy stay. So we kind of saw some catching depth get ate up this week. Gabriel Moreno is heading for the IL. He's not been officially placed at the time of this recording with a back injury. I think there was one other, or I guess we talked about Alejandro Kirk last week. Spencer Strider. Let's get into some good injury news. Spencer Strider is on track to start a rehab assignment Thursday. Now, I know people aren't really super high on Strider right now because of the diminished velocity, but if you drafted him, then obviously you're happy to see him starting a big step to coming back. So yeah, we'll be good Thursday. It says here Atlanta's goal is to have Strider throw roughly 40 to 45 pitches during his first rehab outing, which I'm kind of surprised. It seems like a lot. I feel like they usually get built up until about like 75 pitches. So yeah, he's still definitely going to do a few rehab starts, so he's still a few weeks out. Like this ETA, I think is pretty accurate, like the very beginning of May. Parker Meadows, Tigers. Now this one was unfortunate. I had almost actually brought up Parker Meadows on, I think, Friday's show. I'm trying to remember if it was either Thursday or Friday show where I was talking about like potential waiver wire additions. Because he'd been solid, 3 stolen bases. He was batting like 275 at the time. And then, yeah, he collides with Riley Green in the outfield. I think it was on Thursday's game. And not only suffered a concussion, but a left radius fracture. So I didn't see any official like timetable of when he'll be out, but my guess is that one's gonna be a minute, unfortunately. Kirby Yates. I don't really know how fantasy relevant this is anymore, but there was a report where Angels manager Kurt Suzuki said he's expected to pitch for High A soon. Only problem is Jordan Romano has looked really good as the closer so far and has closer experience. 4 saves, still hasn't given up a run yet. It's been a while since he last got a save opportunity, but I still think he's worth stashing. I have him in Splendid Splinter. This league's a pretty deep league with saves, so just in case, but I'm not really confident that he'll get the chance when he comes back. Tatsuya Mai went back to Houston. He's had a pretty rough start so far. 2 out of his 3 starts have been very disastrous. And then, yeah, return to Houston on Saturday and will be examined by team physicians while he contends with right arm fatigue. Don't really think you're dropping him. Have no idea if he's going to go on the IL or not, but just kind of compounds a bad start for Mai so far. Christian Yelich. This one is unfortunate, but I can't really say too surprising. He was removed from Sunday's game against the Nationals due to left hamstring tightness. I watched the clip. He was trying to leg out, like beat out a double play, and yeah, it just didn't look too hot running up the baseline. This ESPN note does not say it, but if you go to, there was an article, where Brewers manager Pat Murphy said, we're most likely going to get some bad news on Yelich. So that's obviously not good. Somebody who's just dealt with so many injuries for so long. Even basically being in ESPN, he's literally a DH. I don't know what he is in Yahoo, but he's just dealt with so many injuries over the years. It's unfortunate. I'll still never forget those first couple years with the Brewers. The first year when he won MVP, and then probably would have again the second year had he not gotten hurt. I think it was maybe like August. He only played 130 games here, but 1,100 OPS. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. And last year, put up really good numbers: 29 homers, over 100 ribbies, 16 stolen bags. He already had 3 this year. Was batting .314. He was off to a great start, and so don't really love to see that. I think it's almost a guarantee he'll be going on the IL in some capacity, and I guess we'll see how long that recovery is. Royce Lewis, kind of a similar boat to Yelich. I'm honestly surprised it took this long for him to get hurt. He was placed on the 10-day IL Saturday with a left knee sprain. It's unclear how long he'll be out. Obviously, just with how the way the IL works, he'll be out until at least April 21st. So his production was all right. 2 steals, kind of interesting. So a low batting average, but he was putting up some counting numbers. But so you'll have to find a replacement there. Nick Pivetta, I don't think this one is super serious, but he did start Sunday with right elbow stiffness, which is obviously never good anytime you see something around the pitching, arm, elbow, anything like that, shoulder. Keep an eye on that one. Joe Boyle, who kind of had some appeal. I streamed the Minnesota start in one of the leagues. That was fine. But he was placed on the 15-day IL due to right elbow strain. That's really not good. So we'll see what news is there. A lot of people were speculating that he wasn't even going to be in the rotation once Ryan Pepiot returned anyway. I actually forgot to look him up, see if there's any notes. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, I think we talked. Or no, we didn't. Okay, so he threw, or maybe we previewed it. Well, either way, he threw a live BP Friday, so expected to require at least 1 rehab start. So still a couple weeks out, but most people thought Joe Boyle was going to be the odd man out once he did return. This obviously solidifies that. George Springer on the IL with a fractured toe. Kind of a weird injury, especially because if I remember correctly, Alejandro Kirk, also on the Blue Jays, had the fractured tip of his thumb. So watch out for the fingers and toes, I guess, out in Toronto. But yeah, I didn't really see any timeline. Yeah, this note doesn't mention any timeline. Just that he fractured left big toe. Yeah, fouled a ball. That's just crazy. Fouled a ball off his foot. Man, that had to have hurt. So it looks like here the Blue Jays called up Eloy Jimenez. He's obviously not lived up to his prospect status, but that's maybe something to keep an eye on. I don't even know if he'll play full time. Kind of like this note implies, especially since it's just DH, that they could probably just rotate a bunch of people there. So maybe just keep an eye on Eloy. It's obviously a good lineup. So a couple more names. Or actually, no, that's it. Yeah, that's it. So, but I mean, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's just across the last 3 days. 6 names, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, some of those were just updates from people already hurt. Yeah, I feel like I say it every year, and obviously there's always injuries in sports, but especially since just doing the warning track and just physically writing down all the names of people who got hurt the last 2-3 days, and just knowing that that's adding to guys like Jackson Churio, Hunter Brown, Juan Soto, we already mentioned Mookie Betts. I mean, just so many injuries. Just shows that at the end of the day, fantasy is just a good amount of luck, and hopefully you are just the last man standing and have the last guy standing. So a couple things I wanted to mention. We've got a few minutes left here on the show. I hinted at the beginning is Noah Schultz. The White Sox are calling up Noah Schultz. I think he's going to be starting Tuesday. If I remember correctly, yes, against the Rays. Now, I'm actually pretty excited for this. He's ranked 46th on MLB.com's top 100 prospect list, and that's kind of partly due to what happened last year. He had a down year in 2025, dealt with an injury, he's only made 17 starts. But if you look at his 2024, which is absolutely dominant, 23 starts, a 2.24 ERA across high A and double A, 88 innings, and 115 strikeouts with a sub-1 whip and only 24 walks, which is especially surprising because Noah Schultz is 6'10", 240. As this kind of prospect note here implies, because of his stature, and he gets a lot of Ks, people apparently like to compare him to Randy Johnson. Has a really good slider, good fastball too. So the K upside, I think, is very intriguing, and especially considering a guy his size that has pretty good command, because that was kind of one of the worries with Mizorowski, is just that, and not that Mizorowski's as tall or just a physical presence as Noah Schultz is. I'm trying to remember. Surely he would have been on this list. Where's Mizorowski? I swear he was way higher. Maybe he's on 2024 list. 'Cause I think he's like 6'5". I want to say, yeah, here he is. Or 6'7". Okay, so I mean, obviously somewhat similar. I mean, Mizorowski's still insanely tall, and Mizorowski I would say has a better fastball, but similar statue. And yeah, we look at his numbers. I mean, even for as great as he was in the minors, 42 walks in 71 innings, 60 walks in 97 innings, 31 walks in 63 innings. That's actually probably the best of them. Clearly, it didn't matter. I mean, he still had a lot of really good strikeout stuff. But all that to really say is that if Noah Schultz can translate his minor league success in the majors and have high K numbers with good ratios and not walking a ton of guys, I think the upside is as high as you can go. So I'll be very excited to see him. Unfortunately, he got snatched up in all the leagues I play in. So I wonder what he's rostered in Yahoo. He is already up to 32%. Yeah, so good chance he's still out there, but you're not going to have much time, especially if he has a good start on Tuesday against the Rays. So, and then also too, just you're not going to find him on any waiver wires in your league, but Kevin McGonigal is just still off to an amazing start. I watched yesterday's game, watched him hit the home run off Sandy Alcantara, who had a pretty rough start Sunday against the Tigers, gave up 7 runs across 6 innings. But man, McGonigal is just killing it, batting it high in the lineup, either first or second pretty much every game outside of the first series against the Padres. I mean, he only has 1, 2, 3. I mean, only 3 games without a hit. He only sat once. I mean, and it's just, I think I mentioned this before on one show where this is hard to quantify or impossible to quantify, but he just has the look. He just has the eye test and just looks phenomenal. Just a couple quick things before we end the day off. Jacob deGrom, who made his first start since dealing with like the knee soreness thing, looked really good against the Dodgers. 6 innings, 9 Ks, got the win. Only 1 earned run. Did walk 3, but considering it was the Dodgers, I'd say it was a pretty good start. And then Jordan Walker, same thing. You're not going to really get him anywhere. I mean, he's 75% roster in ESPN, so who knows what that is in Yahoo or CBS, but hit his 7th home run on Sunday, leads the league in home runs. Still only 23 years old, and at one point was a very, very high-end prospect, so it seems like so far in this season he's showing it. So if you're able to get him off the waiver wire, I don't think he was really being drafted anywhere, but yeah, if you got him on your team, then congratulations, because I think that was, so far it's looking like the steal of the year. So, well, that's pretty much all the time we have for today. I appreciate you guys joining in another episode of The Warning Track. Season just keeps on rolling. Hopefully tomorrow maybe we'll have more time to kind of go over maybe some waiver wire replacements for all these injuries and maybe some, I'm sure at the closing carousel we'll have something new as always. But until next time, I'm your host Clayton McMahon, and thank you for joining the episode, and we'll see you next time.
Watch out, it's the Warning Track.